Most artists can't take a month off without pressure from their label. But Kate Bush walked away for 11 years. No music, no interviews, no explanation. Tabloids claimed nervous breakdown. The industry assumed she was finished. What Kate Bush did during those silent years changed everything about how artists control their careers. In this video, I'm breaking down 12 little known facts about Kate Bush, including what she was really doing during the years when the world thought she'd vanished. Story 1, I see the comeback that broke records. In August 2014, tickets for Kate Bush's first concerts in 35 years sold out in 15 minutes flat. A generation who'd been waiting since 1979 finally thought they were getting what they paid for, the chance to hear Wuthering Heights and Running Up That Hill live at last. But within days, a quiet panic started spreading. Because nobody was getting the show they thought they'd bought. The announcement sent shockwaves through the music world. 22 shows at London's Hammersmith Apollo. The first rehearsal photos leaked and confusion spread. There were puppets, elaborate theatrical sets, dancers in strange costumes. This wasn't a concert, it was something else entirely. Critics started questioning her approach. Fans who'd waited 35 years wanted the hits, straightforward and recognizable. Instead, Kate created a 3-act theatrical experience called Before the Dawn. Some songs stretched to 20 minutes. Opening night arrived on August 26, 2014, and the pressure was suffocating. This could vindicate 3.5 decades of absence, or prove she'd completely lost touch with what people wanted. What happened next would rewrite the rules for comeback performances. The curtain rose on a massive puppet whale. Kate appeared not in a spotlight, but emerging from a haunted house set piece. Then the standing ovation started, and it wouldn't stop. She had to return to the stage multiple times. The Guardian called it one of the greatest performances in rock history. All 80,000 tickets across the residency sold. She'd proven something crucial. After 35 years away, she could still make the rules. Story 2, Pink Floyd's secret weapon. David Gilmour put his own money on the line for a teenage girl he'd never met. He didn't know it then, but the tape that landed on his desk in 1973 would change music history. A family friend, Ricky Hopper, handed him a cassette. "My daughter's been writing songs. Could you listen?" Gilmour got these requests constantly. He expected to be polite, offer a few kind words, and move on. Then he pressed play. The voice hit first, sharp, theatrical, unlike anyone else. Then the songs, intricate piano pieces, complex structures, grown-up themes. This wasn't just talent. This was something rare. And Gilmour made a decision that sounded reckless. He paid for professional studio time out of his own pocket. Hundreds of pounds on a 16-year-old nobody. No contract, no guarantee, just instinct. He took her polished demos to record label EMI in 1974. The executives didn't hide their skepticism. A teenage girl? With that voice? They'd seen too many next big things vanish in a month. Gilmour pushed anyway, using his name to force them to listen. They agreed to sign her barely. A tiny advance. Almost no support. And then, something no one expected happened. In 1977, record label EMI did the unthinkable. They gave 19-year-old Kate Bush full creative control over her debut album. No micromanaging, no industry producer. Total freedom. It broke every rule they had for new artists. She delivered The Kick Inside in early 1978. And that March, Wuthering Heights hit #1 in the UK, making her the first woman to top the charts with a song she wrote herself. David Gilmour's gamble didn't just work. It launched one of the most original careers in British music. Story 3, the song EMI wanted to bury. The record label wanted to kill Wuthering Heights before anyone heard it. Kate was 19, terrified, and alone in a room full of executives who knew better. January 1978, record label EMI had Kate's finished debut album, The Kick Inside. Now came the crucial decision, which song becomes the single? Kate wanted Wuthering Heights, a gothic supernatural story sung in a piercing soprano. The executives listened once and hated everything about it. The voice was too high, too strange, too uncommercial. Radio would never play it. They pushed James and the Cold Gun instead, a more conventional rock song. That was the single, they insisted. Kate was a teenager facing down an entire label machine. They'd invested money, studio time, marketing plans. This was their business, their expertise. She refused. The room temperature dropped. They warned her directly, choose wrong, and this could end her career before it started. No debut artist survived a failed single. The label would drop her and she'd be finished. There might not be a second chance. She held firm. Wuthering Heights was the single. Release day approached, and everyone at EMI was preparing for disaster. The single dropped on January 20th, 1978. Initial sales were slow. The executives' fears seemed confirmed. Then radio started playing it. Sales exploded. On March 4th, 1978, Wuthering Heights hit #1 in the UK. It stayed there for 4 weeks. Kate had been right. The executives had been wrong. And she'd proven something crucial. She could trust her instincts even when everyone with power said otherwise. Story 4. A Nego dance teacher who changed everything. At 14, Kate could barely make eye contact with strangers. Her brothers enrolled her in classes with London's most extreme performance artist. Kate, in 1972, was painfully shy, hiding behind her piano, struggling to express herself beyond music. Her brothers, John and Patty, saw the problem. She had talent, but she couldn't command a room. They found Lindsay Kemp, London's most avant-garde mime and dance instructor. Kemp was known for theatrical boundary pushing, physical intensity, and performances that shocked audiences. Most people would expect a shy teenage girl to flee from his classes. The first class was overwhelming. Kemp demanded total physical commitment, emotional rawness, theatrical risk-taking, but something unexpected happened. Kate didn't retreat. She thrived. Kemp taught her that movement could be as powerful as voice, that the body could tell stories music alone couldn't. Within months, she was performing in his productions, developing physical vocabulary that defied pop music conventions. She learned to move like a dancer, think like a mime, and perform like someone possessed. This training would create a moment that shocked an entire nation. In March 1978, Kate appeared on Top of the Pops to perform Wuthering Heights. What viewers saw had never appeared on the show before. She didn't just sing. She danced with strange, flowing movements, arms creating shapes in the air, body telling the story of Catherine Earnshaw's ghost. Audiences were mesmerized and confused. That choreography came directly from Lindsay Kemp's training. A shy 14-year-old had transformed into one of pop music's most distinctive physical performers. Story 5. Cloud Busting and Donald Sutherland. Kate needed a major Hollywood actor for a pop music video. She had no connections, no leverage, and one chance to convince him. In 1985, Kate read Peter Reich's memoir about his father Wilhelm, a controversial scientist who built a machine to create clouds and was imprisoned by the United States government. The story obsessed her. She wrote Cloud Busting, capturing a son's memory of watching his father dragged away. For the video, she envisioned one specific actor, Donald Sutherland. It seemed impossible. Sutherland was a major film star, invasion of the body snatchers. Ordinary people. He didn't do pop music videos. His agents would likely reject the request immediately. Kate had no Hollywood connections, no way to reach him directly. Getting him for a music video would require something beyond the usual industry channels. She wrote him a personal letter explaining the story's meaning, Wilhelm Reich's tragedy, the father-son relationship at the heart of the song. She mailed it, knowing it might never reach him. Days passed with no response. Then his agent called. Sutherland was moved by the letter. He agreed. The shoot in the Yorkshire moors was challenging. They built an elaborate cloud-busting machine specifically for filming. The weather was unpredictable. The emotional scenes between Kate and Sutherland required real vulnerability. The video premiered in October 1985 and became one of the most acclaimed music videos of the decade. Sutherland's performance gave it cinematic weight. Kate's vision had convinced a Hollywood star to take a risk on pop music. The song reached number 20 in the UK, and the video won multiple awards. One personal letter had made it all possible. Story 6: The Studio in the Barn. After The Dreaming flopped commercially in 1982, Kate's label was nervous. The album had been expensive, strange, and misunderstood. Critics called it dense and mad. Sales disappointed. The pressure mounted for Kate to deliver something more commercial, something safer. Instead, she made a decision that seemed financially reckless. In the summer of 1983, she convinced her father Robert and her partner Del Palmer to help her build a 48-track recording studio in the old barn behind her family's farmhouse in East Wickham. The construction costs were massive. Studio time at professional London facilities ran £90 per hour, but building her own studio required tens of thousands upfront with no guarantee of success. The label executives questioned the investment. What if the next album failed too? She'd have an expensive barn and a dead career. Kate insisted. She needed creative freedom without the pressure of hourly studio rates. She needed to work at her own pace without engineers watching the clock. Her father, a doctor with no audio engineering experience, helped design the space. They installed a mixing console that had been used by the Beatles at Abbey Road Studios. They added a Fairlight CMI sampler, a Yamaha CS80, Lindrum machines, and racks of processing equipment. Then something unexpected happened during the 18 months she spent recording there. The barn's location changed everything. Surrounded by countryside, away from London's music industry, Kate could experiment without judgment. She recorded environmental sounds with a portable Negra unit. The relaxed atmosphere let her take risks. The result was Hounds of Love in 1985, which knocked Madonna's Like a Virgin from the #1 spot in the UK. It became her most commercially successful album ever. The studio she built paid for itself many times over. She'd proven that betting on creative freedom was worth more than playing it safe. Story 7: Eye Tears Brules, 4 and the Sound That Kills. In October 1986, Kate released a song about scientists creating a weapon made of sound. But the music video was so violent that the BBC banned it from Top of the Pops. Kate wrote Experiment 4 for her greatest hits compilation, The Whole Story. The song told a disturbing story. Military officials commissioned scientists to create a sound capable of killing someone from a distance. The scientists believe they're doing theoretical research, making music for pleasure. Then they're told what the military really wants. The meters go into the red. The experiment becomes a mistake in the making. Kate decided to direct the video herself, her third directorial effort. She wanted to tell the story visually without appearing much on screen. She found the perfect location, a derelict military hospital in Woolwich, London, originally designed by Florence Nightingale. The massive labyrinthine building provided an ominous backdrop. For authenticity, they recreated a recording studio using equipment from Kate's own studio, including the same mixing console the Beatles had used at Abbey Road. The video featured a star-studded British cast. Dawn French and Hugh Laurie played scientists in lab coats. Peter Vaughan played a military official. Gary Oldman appeared as a test subject strapped to a chair. Kate herself played multiple roles, an orderly serving tea, and most memorably, the sound creature itself, transforming from an angelic siren into a horrific flying banshee. The violence was the problem. The sound creature murdered nearly everyone in the facility. Bodies littered the corridors. The imagery was intense, cinematic, genuinely frightening. Top of the Pops refused to air it. Too violent for their audience. The BBC ban created controversy and publicity. The video was nominated for Best Concept Music Video at the 1988 Grammy Awards. The single peaked at number 23 in the UK, released simultaneously with her duet with Peter Gabriel, Don't Give Up. Kate had created something that couldn't be ignored, even if it couldn't be shown on mainstream television. The band only proved her point: some sounds, some images are too powerful to control. Story 8. Ivasic's Tour, the tour that nearly broke her. The Tour of Life was supposed to revolutionize live performance. Instead, it nearly destroyed Kate's body and ended with a decision that shocked the entire music industry. April 1979, Kate launched the Tour of Life, the most ambitious pop concert production anyone had attempted. Elaborate choreography throughout, 17 costume changes, theatrical elements never seen in pop shows, magic tricks, dancers, props, multimedia. It was groundbreaking. Critics called it visionary, but the physical demands were something else entirely. Kate was singing complex vocal parts while executing demanding dance routines every night, back to back. The choreography required athletic conditioning. The vocals required complete breath control. Combining both pushed her body beyond its limits. Her back started giving out. The pain became constant. Her voice, strained from singing while dancing, grew exhausted. She was 20 years old and destroying herself. Show after show, the combination of athletic performance and vocal strain accumulated damage. Medical professionals warned her. Her body couldn't sustain this. After 28 shows, she made a choice that would define her entire career. In May 1979, Kate announced she would never tour again. The music industry reacted with shock and warnings. Artists needed touring to stay relevant, to connect with fans, to make real money. This was career suicide. She was throwing away the most profitable part of being a musician. Critics predicted she'd fade into obscurity. She proved them completely wrong. Instead of touring, she focused entirely on studio albums. In 1985, she released Hounds of Love, considered her masterpiece. It went to number 1. She spent years perfecting each record. The absence of touring pressure allowed her to create without compromise. 35 years later, she'd finally returned to live performance, on her terms, with Before the Dawn. Story 9. I'm the 11 Years Silence. After the Red Shoes in 1993, Kate Bush vanished. No music, no interviews, no explanation. The tabloids assumed the worst. The Red Shoes had been exhausting. Press tours, promotional obligations, the weight of expectation. When it ended, Kate made a decision. She was done. She retreated from public life completely. In 1998, she had a son, Bertie. The silence continued. The music industry moved on. Years passed. 1 year became 3, then 5. Tabloids speculated wildly. Some claimed nervous breakdown. Others said she'd quit music entirely, burned out from decades of pressure. For 11 years, the silence held. No new music. No public appearances. The industry assumed she was finished. Her label, EMI, didn't even know if she was recording. Meanwhile, in her home studio, something was happening. She was working, but slowly, deliberately, with zero external pressure. No deadlines. No expectations. Just her, the music, and her son growing up nearby. Then, in 2005, something appeared that contradicted every assumption about her disappearance. Ariel arrived. Not just an album, but an ambitious double album. 80 minutes of music. The first disc explored everyday life and motherhood. The second was a conceptual piece about a single day from sunset to dawn. Critics hailed it as a masterpiece. The album debuted at number 3 in the UK in November 2005. Her fan base had waited patiently. The silence hadn't hurt her, it had preserved her artistic vision. She'd proven she could disappear for over a decade and return stronger than ever, entirely on her own terms. Story 10. I-16 Tiksweers into the finest lugst. At just 16 years old, Kate was recording with a full orchestra. Every failed take was costing money she didn't have. Summer 1975, David Gilmour's investment had secured Kate's studio time at AIR Studios in London. She was recording The Man with the Child in His Eyes, a song she'd written at 13. This wasn't a demo. This was a full professional recording session with an orchestra, seasoned musicians who'd worked with the Beatles, engineers who'd recorded major stars, all of them watching a teenager. The pressure was suffocating. Every take cost money and time. Orchestra sessions were expensive. She could feel everyone waiting, evaluating, judging. Her voice kept breaking under the stress. She was trying to be technically perfect, hitting every note precisely, controlling every breath. Take after take failed. The engineers were patient, but she could sense the frustration building. This was supposed to be a simple song. She was a teenager who'd never done this before, and it was showing. Then something shifted in her approach. She stopped trying to be perfect. She stopped thinking about the professionals watching. On the next attempt, she simply felt the song emotionally, let the vulnerability come through, sang it like she meant it rather than like she was proving something. That take became the master recording. The song would appear on her debut album, The Kick Inside, 3 years later in 1978, showcasing emotional maturity far beyond her teenage years. It reached number 6 in the UK. The recording from that terrifying session at 16 proved she had something rare, not just technical skill, but genuine artistry. Story 11, Bush versus her label. By 2001, major labels were offering Kate massive deals to return to music. She said no to all of them. Kate had been away from the industry for years, focusing on raising her son Bertie. But the labels hadn't forgotten her. They came calling with contracts and promises, significant money, marketing support, distribution power, everything an artist could want. There was one catch. They wanted her back on their terms, quick turnarounds, conventional promotion cycles, albums on their timeline, not hers. Industry standard practices. She was working on what would become Ariel in her home studio, moving at her own pace. The labels pushed for delivery within 2 years. That's how the business worked. She refused every offer, walking away from significant money. The labels were confused. This was how artists made livings. This was the system. Without label support, how would she record? How would she distribute? How would anyone hear the music? She spent 6 years completing Ariel exactly as she envisioned it, gambling her entire career on creative control. Those 6 years felt like exile to the industry. No singles, no previews, no marketing campaign, building anticipation. Just silence and the risk that audiences would forget her entirely. When Ariel finally released in November 2005, it debuted at number 3 in the UK. It was critically acclaimed. It sold hundreds of thousands of copies. She'd proven something revolutionary. She didn't need the traditional music industry machine to succeed. Complete artistic control was worth more than any label deal. The 6-year wait had built anticipation naturally without spending $1 on conventional marketing. Story 12, her running up that hill strikes again. In May 2022, a song released 37 years earlier suddenly exploded. What happened next broke records nobody expected. Running Up That Hill had been a hit in 1985, peaking at number 3 in the UK. A solid success. Then it faded from mainstream consciousness like most 80s songs. Kate moved on to other work. The decades passed. Then Stranger Things Season 4 premiered on Netflix on May 27, 2022. The show featured Running Up That Hill in a pivotal emotional scene. Social media erupted immediately. Young viewers who'd never heard of Kate Bush were searching for the song. Streams started climbing fast. Within days, it was pulling millions of streams daily. The song wasn't just popular, it was going viral in ways that didn't exist in 1985. Spotify, Apple Music, TikTok, all platforms showed explosive growth. Chart positions started shifting. The song was climbing in countries worldwide. Music industry analysts were stunned. This wasn't a nostalgia bump. This was a genuine phenomenon. Then something happened that seemed statistically impossible for a song that old. On June 17, 2022, Running Up That Hill hit number 1 in the UK singles chart, not number 3, where it peaked in 1985. Number 1. Kate Bush, at 63 years old, became the oldest female artist to top the British charts. The song reached number 1 in multiple countries. A whole new generation discovered her catalog. Kate, still fiercely private, released a rare statement expressing amazement at the song's second life. The Resurgence introduced her work to audiences who weren't born when she last toured in 1979. Running Up That Hill proved something remarkable. Great art doesn't have an expiration date. 37 years later, the song found its largest audience ever. Kate Bush never played by the rules, and that's exactly why she became a legend. From fighting her label at 19 to vanishing for 11 years to returning after 35, she proved that artistic control matters more than industry approval. In 2022, when Running Up That Hill hit number 1 again, 37 years after its release, she had the last word. A great art doesn't need permission, and it never expires. If you like this video, you may also like other videos in our channel about beautiful ladies of yesteryear.